Hello and welcome to another video with myself, Rev.ArleneC. So I have a couple of videos that I need to make, but this one I'm going to make today, even though I do have part of a February energy update to do too. Just because today is February 1st and the energies are just wild. It started about 10 o'clock last night, yesterday, Eastern time, and it's just carried in through to today. But that's for another video. So this video, I don't know, maybe it might upset some people, I'm not sure, but I can only share what I receive and from my level of understanding. So I wanted to talk about mediumship, I guess, in a way. I guess we'll call it mediumship. I don't know. I'm not good with the labels, as we all know in my other videos. I'm not good with the labels. It's just kind of like, this is what I do. And if there's a label, okay, cool. But I don't know, I'm just being me, right? So there's this, but we're going to call it mediumship because I've heard that name or that label get thrown around. So again, from, just my level of understanding and my level of experience and what I receive from God and my higher self team, and seeing the many paradigm shifts that have taken place in even just the last, let's say, maybe 7 years. It's been pretty amazing kind of to watch, right? Just because I've been kind of in and out of this field of understanding since I was 16, right? So 31 years ago, if I did the math right. So that's like 31 years ago for me. Yeah, it's either 31 or 21. I can't remember. My gosh, my math today is horrible. So yeah, don't ask me to do math. Okay, so what also kind of sparked this conversation for this video was a documentary I watched recently. I haven't even really finished watching all of it yet, but watched some of it, or most of it. And again, too, I don't know how long ago this documentary was made, so could, but it got me thinking, and then I was receiving more information since it. So, I've been known to communicate with those who have crossed over. I've received information from them. But I guess my disclaimer, when I speak to people who are living, who are in a human vessel, because even those who have crossed over are still living, they're just living in another dimensional reality space. So those who are still in this physical suits, when I speak to them, I let them know that I don't necessarily speak to them. They speak to me, and then I share the information. I don't go out looking to speak to them. I don't try to force it. I don't even really try to, I guess, tap in either. And I'll explain why. So, the way I see it is, or the way I understand physical death is, yes, the physical body may no longer be here in physical form, being able to function and move. But the soul lives forever. The soul is infinite. And so also understanding that, so we'll just say, for example, you know me as Arlene. And so we'll say my sons, right? My sons know me as Mom. They know this small fractal of my soul. This small fractal of my soul with the label title Arlene. But my soul is infinite fractals. So that's why, again, why we have past lives, right? So they're not really past lives because they're all happening now. And they are just another fractal, another grain in the sand or grain in the bowl of rice, right? It's just this little speck. So what happens is I die, the physical body dies, my soul goes on, right? And it's dispersed into these beautiful infinity fractals and specks and stuff. So, there's aspects that are still floating around in this physical earth here, and then there's parts, in other realities, other multi-dimensions. It's everywhere because energy cannot be destroyed, right? It's only recreated or shifted to something else. It's transmuted. In understanding that, okay? So we're understanding that part. So it's also understanding that the soul still has lots to do once it leaves this physical form. Right? So it still has things it needs to do. And there's still aspects that the fractal part of Arlene has things to do now on the other side. I still have other work to do, and it doesn't mean that I will never come back around and, check on my sons, check on the family, or see this or do that, or have interactions with other beings, other people who are still part of this earth, right? If there is an aspect that my soul still needs to complete, right? So sometimes it's just like when you think of ascended masters and how so many of them will come and speak to the humans, right? And help guide them. So that's still part of, let's just call it a contract, that they still have to share and to help specific parts of humanity to evolve and grow, right? So in understanding that, so when the human that's left here and has lost the person they love, what ends up happening is they struggle with letting that go, right? With letting the person go. And the more you sit there as the human still here, the more you sit there constantly asking that the person who's on the other side to constantly give you signs, constantly give you messages, to be with you, you are, without sounding harsh, you are selfishly hindering them from moving forward with the job they need to do. Just because they are not physically here doesn't mean that they are not living over here. They are very much alive, living here, because energy, again, never dies. So often the constant asking of this and this and this, the constant going to a medium and connecting and blah, 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 again, not to be harsh, you are selfish. You are being selfish to that soul. You can talk to the soul all you want. You can talk to them, tell them that you love them, share memories with them, talk about the good times, talk about how they made you laugh, but always put in there the fact that You want them to have the most beautiful life and experience on the other side. That even though they are not here with you physically, you love them and you are encouraging them. You are still their cheerleaders on this side. And that you hope that in some way they are your cheerleader on their side. And when they can offer you support here. Often what also happens is with the soul is often when someone passes away, their soul kind of lingers around for about 7 days, let's say. Because often what happens is they stay here until their funeral. And because usually it's done within those 7 days, right? So that's when they're usually here. So they're still kind of floating around, just catching their footing, let's say. But then they need to go on and do their thing. So that's what I'm trying to get, trying to help understand. Because again, this is from my level of understanding. So it's about understanding that us, as those who are left here, we need to work on not being selfish and keeping that soul trapped here without being able to fully move on and do the work they need to do. It doesn't mean that they will never come visit. It doesn't mean that there isn't aspects where they are here to support you where it's needed. Remember, they are in the space with your true soul too, right? So even though your soul is here, but it's really not all here because again, you are an infinite fractal. So there's aspects of you there too and in other places, right? That's why we have multi-dimensions, we have multi-realities. That's why you get deja vu. That's why sometimes you don't understand why you know something that you do know. Why you feel like you've been to places. Why you feel like you know people that you've never met before, right? Why, I'm trying to think, like just all these different things, or again, like past lives, because you are also infinite. So, this is about not hindering your soul and your purpose for being here on earth as a human doing this experience, and not hindering that soul that needs to be crossed over and needs to do the next phase in their journey. Understanding that there's going to be a time when you will see each other again and everything here won't matter, because when you get there and you're together, no time has passed. It was as if you woke up to each other from the day you left each other. So it's understanding that that soul, that person you love, is never really gone. There's always aspects, but you constantly asking them to give you signs, constantly asking them to do this, to do that. You are keeping them tethered to a reality that is no longer theirs, that only hurts them to be stuck here. You are hindering their growth and the next piece of their evolution that they need to go on. And I know that's hard to hear, and I don't mean, like I said, I don't mean to sound harsh, insensitive, or rude, but understanding that that soul needs you to let them go with love. It doesn't mean that you forget about them. It doesn't mean that you don't miss them. It doesn't mean that you don't grieve and you don't cry and you don't go through all the emotions. But what it means is that you're not selfish in trying to keep them here for you. That is part of the, not the dangers, but to think about what you're doing. Because if there's a way that they want to talk to you, they will find a way. But let it be on their terms. And I'm not saying that means you don't go to a medium or you don't go to a reader or whatever. Again, it's not what I'm saying, but with the intention of forcing someone to talk to you is different, right? If you go to a medium and you just go talk to them and whoever comes through, that's different because that person came through, And I understand just saying like, hey, if I go see this person and you come around, if you feel that you are in a space to have enough energy to come and share your time with us, it's kind of like, hey, if you have time, make an appointment, right? Like, if you have time, I'd love to hear from you. And, if you can give me a sign, maybe we can talk about this. That's a little bit different, right? It's not like, hey, the only way I'm going to know it's you is if you give me this sign. Like, can you, make sure to do this for me? That's not how, I guess, I don't want to use the word should, but when I hear that and I feel into the energy of that, it feels really icky. It does. It feels very icky. And it doesn't feel clear and cleansed and pure. It feels selfish. It feels like, again, you're doing it for you when you're not also thinking about them and what they're going through. Because again, it's understanding that souls are infinite. They are in everything. That person you love is in the air you're breathing when you go outside. That person is there. And when they're ready and they can, they'll visit you in dreams. They'll visit you in other ways. And you'll know it's them. There will be no way to not know. Be it whatever. Something that was close to you. Something that you both connected with. That will come up. Songs on the radio. Seeing certain numbers. Hearing certain numbers, right? Like, things will come. And like I said, I'm not saying that you don't go see a medium or a psychic. It's not what I'm saying. Because if someone is meant to come through, they will. But don't force it, is all I'm saying. You don't force it. You don't push it. It's allow them to come forward if and when they are ready. You can't force to be like, hey, I want to talk to my mom today. Okay, can you bring me my mom? That's not how it works. If she's ready and she can, because you don't understand the energy it takes to make these things happen. So if there's enough energy that she can or he can, whoever it is, can come forward to talk to you, they will find a way. Or they will direct you to someone like a medium or a psychic or whatever, right? They will lead you to something because that's how energy works too. It's just beautiful like that. That's how the other side works because they are in tension working with God to bring forward beauty and light and change and growth. I'm going to leave that there. I hope this resonates with you or that it gives you a different understanding. And like I said, I can only share from my level of understanding. There was a time too that in the beginning I felt certain ways in the old paradigms that I thought that was how it was done until I started shifting, evolving, and growing, and then receiving information from a more clear source, and that changed for me. But also the paradigms are changing. So what used to work doesn't work like it used to, right? It's just like I've said before, it's like you're trying to run Windows on an Apple. It's just not going to work. They just are not compatible, and that's what's happening with the paradigms. Some of the old ways are no longer compatible. They need to be shifted, changed, tweaked, evolved, because we are constantly evolving and growing. Surrounding you all in love. I appreciate you so much. You don't understand how much I appreciate you all who are constantly here watching the videos, sharing your info with me, whether it be through YouTube or you head over to my Instagram channel and you tell me stuff there, or some of you will even email me. Like, honestly, it makes me want to cry just because I am so grateful for all of you. And I'm grateful for those who haven't even found me yet and eventually will, because I'm here for you. I'm here to be of service. Again, surrounding you in love. You are loved, you are seen, you are safe, and you are whole. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you for the February update. I'm not sure when I'm going to make that video yet, but it's coming.